actually should probably fight him right here. That's the best. All right, you guys ready for big DPS? All right, watch this. Ready? Big DPS. Hadoken.
You know what's better than hanging out with my wife? Smashing that like button and subscribing to my boy Slaydra.
Alright, Path of Exile players, let's go over it. This is one of the top tier builds that will allow you to basically delete a boss with a really quick combo. It doesn't actually take that long, and it's not really a super gimmick way to play the game where you could still actually complete your maps. I know that there's a lot of like boss builds out there where there's that specific monk one where you can gain all those orbs, but like it's kind of slow. This build I would say is much faster overall for like most content in the game, but it's not like a cheese build. Like the build still functions very good. It's actually very similar if you guys remember several months ago when we played this version of the build against the Arbiter. This is basically the same exact concept where we would throw in the Orb of Storms, where that actually got nerfed, but you can see that's the Arbiter. He was absolutely deleted instantly. This is the same exact concept, so if you guys are familiar with that, it's basically returned in the most recent update in 0.3 with basically replacing our Orb of Storm with Tornado Shot, but there's a lot of updates also that give us crazy quality of life. I'm talking no activating mana for the most part. It is the best quality of life with the brand new node Walker of the Wilds. It's so good. And we also have an auto cast Lightning Nova with Voltaic Mark that automatically gets applied with the brand new Ascendency for, of course, the Deadeye. But you could also technically play this whole entire build on the Amazon if you do want to do it. It just will also require you to push Voltaic Mark on specifically bosses. It doesn't really matter with the trash, but this also does help out with trash clear as it does throw a Lightning Nova, which is awesome, which can then activate again. So let's go next first explain like the skills and how we use them, because it's important to know the rotation for specifically what you're fighting. So for most of the trash, if you have the DPS, you can just spam Lightning Arrow and most of the stuff will die. But in the earlier stages, if you don't have really good gear, you can use Lightning Rod, and then you can also use a Tornado Shot and Lightning Arrow on, let's say, the yellow monsters. Or just, you can run Lightning Arrow with Lightning Rod. So just throw it on one Lightning Rod first and then one Lightning Arrow. Or if you want to add in a Tornado Shot for bigger DPS, that's fine. The only one that really matters that I really want to highlight and go over is the big boss DPS from the intro clips. So it's specifically, you use Lightning Rod a few times, so you just get all of these Lightning Rods out, and then you activate one Tornado Shot, that is key. And then you activate Barrage. Barrage is going to allow you to shoot way more Lightning Arrows all at once in a big burst. Then you're going to spam basically Lightning Arrow until the thing dies. If you have the DPS, most bosses will die. Keep in mind there are certain bosses, it doesn't matter how much DPS you do, they have to have a second phase, they have like a second wind, they have a different like mechanic, and you have to do it. There's no getting around that, so just keep that in mind too. But most of the time, most of the bosses, if you build it correct, it will just basically delete them instantly. Again, it's the same thing as the Orb of Storms with the chain, Lightning Arrow, Lightning Rods. It's basically back, except for we don't play with Ball Lightning. The big change, by the way, if you guys are wondering, like, why is this build basically the same thing? So how it got changed is Orb of Storm only works off of your spells casted. That is the key word. It should just work on its own. And it would just chain and go crazy with Lightning Rods. There's also Voltaic Mark, and we socket this gem inside of another brand new skill that gets activated once we get our Ascendency up. But yeah, this is brand new. You don't have to use it, by the way. This automatically just gets casted, and we get free Lightning Novas, which gives us a superior clear speed without relying on, let's say, the additional runes to get additional projectiles, which if you can get that, I'll be honest, is good. I don't have it in the gameplay. This is mainly oriented around a budget-friendly option here, but if you do get those, yeah, it's excellent, for sure. But Voltaic Mark really helps out with the clear speed. Again, you get these free Lightning Novas that can chain. In theory, they can go and chain multiple times, but realistically, you get one or two and they blow up because the monster's dead, because that's kind of how it works. Your DPS, it's good though, because that means your DPS is good enough. But yeah. Anyways, another huge change is Walker of the Wilds, which I want to mention really quick. How it works is your mana leech is recovered based on elemental damage. So you get that mana leech on your ring or over on your gloves. It's physical leeched as mana, but now it converts it. It's literally 1 point and you don't even have to waste points for it, which is awesome. And then just like the update to Grim Feast, just like this build, we got to run Ghost Dance. There's a thing called Grim Feast that was super OP, and basically Unfortunately, you do hybrid, and it was broken, and I'll be honest, it's still pretty OP and busted. Speaking of OP and busted, the escape shot is the greatest thing ever. It lets you move faster and you can cross terrain. So if you guys do want to play Roa, because I had a couple people ask me like, why don't you play Roa? Don't you like running fast? This is way more fast. The thing is that you can get knocked when you are running. Just keep that in mind if you do want to use it. And I have to explain it because it has to do with the new running animation. The new running animation is faster than the Roa mount. However, obviously you're not up 100% time running, but being able to utilize that is way more enjoyable. And I have to actually explain this real quick with the ice shot if you do want to use it, the little escape ice shot thing. So how it works is you need to hold down spacebar, which is the default, and then you need to let go of that, and then you point your mouse in the opposite direction to slingshot yourself. That's how you use the ice shot with the combination. You see where I put my mouse? You have to like bounce it. If you don't want to play it, it's fine. It doesn't matter. It doesn't add DPS. It's just something that I got asked a couple different times because I was playing with roll mount, but like I like dodge rolling. I like moving up and down the elevations of terrain. It just is faster and it generally feels more fun to play. But try it out. Honestly, it's really great, especially if you've had all the action speed ones. It's really great. Another thing that's important to mention, to solve the mana problems, you need 2 different sources of like mana on kill, and or, because it depends on like what you're getting, you need leech and mana on kill. So the reason why you need to have like 1 of each is because the mana on kill helps out with trash mobs. The mana leech percent, which again you get converted with the Walker of the Wilds, that is so good against bosses. So one works with the other. You can get it in your gloves for attacks, or you get it in your gloves as well as in your rings, and then also on the passive tree. So however you get it, just make sure you get it. That way you have no mana problems, because I hate being out of mana and I hate pushing the button. I'm just like lazy, and I think a lot of people are kind of the same way. I also don't really ever touch my flask unless it's like a boss, for the most part, because we have also HP on kill, and that pretty much gets rid of it. And the bosses, well, the boss just dies instantly, so it doesn't matter. So as far as it goes, I'm going to let you guys know if you want to use this as a league starter. It feels incredibly squishy. Let me give you guys earlier gameplay so you guys can see like kind of how it is in the earlier stages of the game, because this is actually my second character, so I just have fresh gameplay for you guys. So it is very, very squishy at the early game, but that's okay. However, in the later stages of the game, you do become so tanky, it does not matter. In the earlier stages, you can run like long shot. I have like 2 little things here, so like the leveling with some uniques here. So if you want to level with it, these are the only things that are important. I don't expect you to have a Gemini bow at level 1, but you know, these uniques do help out while leveling, because I just, like I said, freshly leveled this character. And so you can definitely transition into this. That's like the ideal goal, but like, I mean, there's nothing super special about like the early game as far as like uniques really. Like there is Quill Rain, but it has so much negative penalty to your damage that I feel like it's not worth it. But just keep in mind, it's going to have incredibly good speed clear at the very end and big boss DPS. There's really not too many builds that can, for a very cheap budget, be able to do this, and I was really impressed. Again, it's literally the same thing that we've played before. So as far as the gear goes, let's go ahead and go over the gear now. So as far as the gear goes, I'm going to mainly focus in on like the mid to the end game variant, but like the leveling, it's pretty much the same. You just want to get a bow with lightning damage, physical damage, but try to get level to all projectile skills as well as increased attack speed. You can also get bow attacks fire additional arrow, but that's going to be super expensive. That bow attacks fire additional arrow is like premium. Keep in mind the gameplay, even in the later stages, even when I was one-shotting bosses, I did not have a Gemini bow with the not only implicit, but with also the additional suffix of the additional arrow. I did not have that. I'm only shooting 3 arrows. You get 1 from your Ascendency, it shoots 1 on its own, and then you get the Gemini bow. So basically that's how you get 3 of the arrows. But you can get, in your runes, you get additional arrows, but those are like 20 divines, something like that, a piece. So if you can get them, that's awesome. But for the most part, I would say that's unrealistic. But I just put in, keep in mind, you may not get that bow attacks fire additional arrow. It's just, if you can get that, that's awesome. As far as helm goes, we actually play a energy shield based one, just like my previous one several months ago. So the reason why you play this here is there's a special like node that gives you your energy shield for every like 1 energy shield, you get like 3 evasion, so you just get crazy amounts of survivability. And then you just want increased HP, max energy shield, resistances. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to get lightning res, fire res, or chaos res here, just in case you're new to Path of Exile. It just resistances is kind of what you want to go for, and you can also get your resistances on your rings. It doesn't have to be in this department here, but yeah, just a bunch of just stat sticks in terms of like energy shield and your max life is great as well. And then the penetrating quiver for additional clear speed is fantastic, and then also getting lightning and physical damage is great, increased attack speed, level of all projectile skills, but the pierce is very, very good. This is like a godly quiver. You can get so many really insane quivers this league for cheap because so many people are just like crafting them and they're just using like the hand-me-downs or whatever. So it's really easy to get a good quiver for super, super cheap. Again, the most important thing is that level to all projectile skills must be 2. That's like the bare minimum on penetrating quiver. The rest, if you can get them, cool. As far as the rings go, you want lightning damage, and you can also get physical damage, but you can also get maximum mana. If you can get like a couple of rings with maximum mana, it really helps out smooth out the mana, especially in the earlier stages of the game, since you're just firing so fast, because I max the heck out of my attack speed, because the game feels better when you have to do these combos. When you do like lightning rod and then lightning arrow, it's just like so fast. If you have like over 2.5 attacks per second is kind of the ideal goal. And then same thing for the other ring. Just again, resistances, ideally getting chaos res capped is definitely key in this league right now. But kind of the same things that you would normally want: HP, lightning damage, and then if you get evasion, that's fine. So this is important. Somewhere get mana per enemy killed, and then also one of them get leech physical attack damage as mana. Again, this could be on your bow, this can be on your gloves, it can be on your ring, and also on the passive tree. Just however you get it, you get it. For the chest piece, we want a high evasion. We don't even really care too much about HP, but there's a evasion HP hybrid that is totally fine. Basically, try to get 2,000 plus on your evasion rating, and ideally you also get that deflection rating equal to evasion. I get 0 investment for the most part. There's like one node that gives you more evasion, and it just comes with 5% deflection. But we don't really invest at all into deflection here, and that's because we have such high evasion that it's just totally fine. You can't really get 100 very easily. You can get this on 1 to 3 pieces of gear if you want to, because the helm won't roll. But if you can get them all 3, it's not bad at all. It's just for major damage reduction. It is kind of on an RNG base, but that's basically something that you can invest into if you want to. And then for the gloves, attack speed, you can get maximum mana. Lightning damage again is kind of the key here. Get all res, attack speed. And then for the belt, I really like to get plate belts, and the reason why is you can get, depending on the rolls, it's like 5 to maybe even like 8, maybe even 10% damage reduction on physical if you just happen to get a decent amount of armor on it. And I do like that because there's no really strong implicit on the belts. So maximum life, max mana, and then there's just a bunch of resistances for your belts. For the boots, of course, you got to have the movement speed, max life. You can get evasion rating. You can get energy shield base. Does not matter. You do want a decent amount of int in this build, so you can get int on your boots, you can get int on your rings, or you can just get the dexterity on your rings, and then just roll, convert a lot of the things on the passive tree. Instead of being dexterity, just change them into int if you need to swap things around. Don't try to look for specifically like a ring, because the ring with int and also lightning damage is very, very expensive. But if you just get dex, you can literally convert your dex to int, and it's like way cheaper. So that's like 200 IQ play over there to really save if you are a budget player. And I try to make my builds always budget friendly. And next up over here, as far as the charms go, you want to try to get immunity to freeze. That's actually a very, very good thing to get, but I like running guard on pretty much everything. You can run guard, but I would probably recommend running the immunity to freeze if you want to have a little bit more tankiness over there. So now that we went over gear, let's go over the gems here. So for the gems, this is what we are going to be playing. So in the earlier stages, Slingshot is excellent. However, later in the game, if you do want to go ahead and play with close combat, I have like my pop over here as well. Close combat will give you way more numerical damage on a more consistent basis with the bosses. So I would recommend, if you are leveling, again, to use the long range one, because you're not going to be super tanky earlier in the game. But if you want to, it's totally fine. So those are the 2 that I would say swap between campaign and like the end game. But we also play with charge shots, lightning attunement, rapid attacks, as well as elemental armor. These are the two like main priority ones. The rest I did play with whatever you want, man. And then with lightning rod, elemental armor. Now in the 0.3 we can run the same gems, which is awesome. Rapid attacks, lightning attunement, long shot, as well as lightning exposure. But again, you would swap this one out for the close if you do want to swap. So again, if you're early game, long. If you're end game, I would run close. That's how I would play it, because the boss, it doesn't matter how much DPS they do, because you just one-shot them anyways. It doesn't matter, you're in close range. The reason why we don't play like long shot towards the end of the game is because the boss is always going to try to move towards you, and you want him to sit inside of your tornado shot and your lightning rods that you throw down. And if you're point blank up to him, well, it just makes things easier. So again, swap these depending on like if you feel like you're tanky enough, especially in the campaign. In the campaign, I played long shot. Obviously, it's long shot 1, but it's the same thing. As far as like the Herald goes, Herald of Thunder, Elemental Armament for the 3rd time over. Actually, we got it like for the 4th time over here. And then we play Lightning Attunement, Elemental Focus, Concentrated Area, Lightning Mastery. In the gameplay, even in the end when I was one-shotting, I only had a 5 link for Thunder here. And then Tornado Shot, this is key. A prolonged duration, you want it to last longer. And then we run Concentrated Area. And the reason why is you want it to be closer, because sometimes it just goes like super far away. You want it close. Think of it again, it's the same concept as Lightning Rod. You want them to be as close as possible, and then also overabundance. So this is how you get the double tornadoes. You cannot, even if you have a bunch of arrows, it will technically summon the other tornado briefly, but it'll just go away instantly because it has like a limit internally. And then for some defensive stats, we run Wind Dancer with Maim and a knockback, and then Ghost Dancer with compressed duration. It just basically gives us free energy shield, and then it like activates a little bit faster on the recharge on it. And then Barrage over here, cooldown recovery, second wind, deliberation, as well as rapid casting. I like all of these. And then Called Shot. So this is the brand new thing over here. This is what makes like the extra novas so good in leveling. Like you're gonna see in the campaign, they automatically get marked, and I love it. Lightning damage is very like big. So sometimes you'll get a nova that literally one-shots everything, and then sometimes you get a nova that tickles. It's lightning damage. That's the nature of it until you get like lucky hit chance, which is not bad. On it. And then we play Elemental Armament, Magnified Area, as well as Lightning Mastery. But you could swap out a lot of things if you want Voltaic Mark to be even stronger. Hey, go for it. I just really like it for the extra clear speed, because the boss, I have the DPS now. But if you're in the stages where you want to do more damage or effectiveness, because what it does is it gives you increased chance to shock, but then it also gives shock effectiveness, so it's really great for that. And again, it applies automatically, because I hated pushing the button. You can see over here, it's like grayed out. I can't even push it. It automatically, again, activates it. I'm also playing with a companion over here. I love the companion for leveling, and again, you just click on the leveling one. There's a little bit of differences. I love the companion. It's great for leveling, but it definitely does fall off in the end game, unless you get the gem that gives you immortality, which is Brutus. It's a new gem. It's actually kind of cheap now. When I first got it, it was actually pretty pricey, but you can get that, and it's going to be basically immortal, which is really awesome. But that's pretty much it for the gems over here. If you want to play any other things like Roa, again, be my guest, it's not bad at all. So as far as Ascendency goes in the order, okay, so the first order is got to be Tailwind. We want to go fast. The second Ascendency, we get the brand new Called Shots. Remember, you socket a gem inside of this, and this, you don't use a level up gem to level this up. It will just level up as your character levels up to get additional sockets. If you're wondering how do you get more sockets in Called Shots, I believe once you're 90, it should go all the way to max. And then for the third Ascendency, I get the additional 1 to the first meter, so point blank, and then endless munitions. If you want to go long range, you can go for it, but like if you want that big, sexy boss DPS, then you got to go point blank, man. It's just the way to go. If you want to, you can remove Called Shots and get extra damage reduction. There's not really a use for Frenzy Charge, but there could be a use for Bullseye. I would say if you want to go crit, this is not a bad idea, but then you have to manually activate it. And are you going to give up that extra projectile? Hell no. So I would not advise that. But as far as the skill tree goes, we actually go up here. There's actually something that is similar to, again, what we did before with, this is why we get the Subterfuge Mask, which gives us energy shield from our helmet, gets converted into evasion rating. This one is really good. And then pretty much the same thing that we've been getting every single time, like Shock Magnitude is great. You get extra elemental damage. The jewel sockets, there's actually one that you can get. It's a new jewel, and you can get like lucky chance for your lightning attacks. I would recommend anointing this one. There's actually a couple different anoints. So the cheap anoint that you can get, this is a cheap anoint. This is also a very cheap anoint. If you want like a mid anoint, it's actually over here. Let me find this. It's like for physical. It's like reduced attack speed. Actually, maybe they didn't update it on the MOBA planner. There's one that gives you, I believe it's actually this one. It gives you 50% attack damage, just 50% attack damage, but 5% reduced attack speed. I'm pretty sure it's like this one right here, unless they like moved it. Actually, it's this one. Sorry, a crushing verdict. This is the one that I like, because it's relatively cheap. It's basically one black oil, so the price fluctuates, but it's like 30-ish, and then like the other ones are like one each. So this one, for the cheap one, this is really solid. Also, if you want to anoint like the mana or something, so you can get the mana, or this is where the health leech is, and then the mana leech is only 2 points as well. Again, you need these. If you don't want to get these in the jewel, you get them in here. It doesn't matter where you get it, you need it. You need recovery on kill, and then you also need recovery on leech for mana. For the HP one, I would recommend you don't need, there's no HP leech, there's just recover on kill, which makes all the process much easier, especially because I like getting killer instinct, and because we have the energy shield in the end game. This is really good. For the earlier stages, as far as your leveling, do not get anything with energy shield. Just get as much damage as possible. Just get to end game maps. Who cares if you die like 5-10 times in the campaign? If your DPS is high enough, you're going to have way faster clear speed overall, just to get to the end game as quickly as possible. That is kind of my recommendation. But some of the other stuff with the deflection, it wasn't bad, but also get this quiver stuff. This stuff is excellent. This is the new node though, right here. Walker of the Wilds. Yeah, like I said, you're going to get this jewel socket anyways because you path down here, because there's no evasion-based build that will not get bestial skin, so you have to path towards this area anyways, and since you're going to get the quiver, you could also technically path up over here, but it's not worth it because you have to get Subterfuge Mask. It is really good. Another important node I want to mention is the Spectral Ward. Just like before, we got it, and it's good. It gives us +1 to maximum energy shield per 12 evasion rating on the body armor. So this is how we have huge amounts of shield. Well, let me go ahead and go back to like the end game footage that I just recorded. In this gameplay, by the way, I think we were 89 for gameplays, just so you have references, a T15 map, and yeah, we're just obliterating stuff. And even when I'm like charging around, again, I like playing with the little like ice escape thing. It's just so fantastic. But there's not really anything else that I would say is super important to mention, so that's going to pretty much wrap things up. But get all the evasion nodes, and if you really want to get even more evasion, you guys can look at this over here. Another thing I want to mention that I really like getting, some people don't get, is there's extra damage as cold. Now this is optional, but even though it's only 5%, what it does is allows you to proc this, and you can also get more pen. I have a couple jewels with pen on lightning, but if you really want to min-max, there's a special brand new lineage gem. It's like 20 divines or something like that. So it's not cheap, but it does give you the ability to have 0 pen in your build. And if you have 0 pen, then yeah, it's pretty cool because it inverts the resistances. So if you get that jewel, then you don't need to get these. But like those are super expensive, and I try to keep my builds like really budget friendly, like just a couple divines, if that. In fact, the bow that I was using in the one of the intro clips was literally 5 exalts. So that was in the earlier stages. Now I have a way better bow, but that was in the leveling process. So keep in mind, you will need to be able to progress. Don't expect to be like, oh, I just got to maps, I can one-shot everything. You're going to need to get, of course, my gems. At some point, there were like 18, I believe, when I was starting to actually one-shot a lot of the bosses. So don't expect it to like one-shot as soon as you get to maps. With the combo, it's pretty fast, so you can kill them in like little, I'd say one rotation, but once you get the investment into the build, it will absolutely dominate. But anyways, that's gonna wrap things up. If there's any questions, or if you guys wanted to let me know if I can improve the build, because it's brand new and there's a lot of newer nodes that we're learning about, like this one. Oh my gosh, I love this. This is one of my favorite things in the game. But anyways, that's gonna be it, gamers, and again, the planner will be linked down below, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.